Hey there, this is Elena with Black Sheep 303 Creative, and today's project is for Elizabeth Craft Designs. I made a cute Father's Day card using the Teddy Bear Picnic stamp set from Krista Schneider, which is, there it is right there, it's so cute. And I'm going to be stamping the Papa Bear and the little girl bear and the small, I'm calling him a boy bear, in Memento Tuxedo black ink onto this 85-pound soft finish white cardstock. I do stamp the little bear 3 times because the first 2 didn't turn out so well. These were brand new stamps, so I don't think they were seasoned well enough for me to stamp them perfectly the first time, although the big bear did just fine. Anyway, so I'm coloring them with my Spectrum Noir markers. And I have kind of an odd technique for fur. And so here's what I do. I base coat in TN2. This is like brown fur. Then I kind of randomly scribble over that with the TN7. And then I'm going to take my TN2 again, and I'm going to blend the whole thing out. So I'm creating sort of a color that's in between the two. Now you might ask, why do I not just blend it on an acrylic block first, or do like tip to tip to get that third tone instead of doing it this way? Well, the reason is because, as you may notice as I'm blending this, although it does blend back quite a bit, those dark little hash marks, you still see them. So depending on how you draw them in, you want to be kind of careful. It creates the texture of fur. And I really like that look. I think it's kind of cool. It's very subtle, like after I get all the shading in, but I really like it. I think it adds something to any animal, like any critter. And so that's why I do it that way. So just letting you in on my little secret for fur there. So after I've blended this to my liking, I'm going to take some TN8, which is a fairly dark brown, and start adding in some shading. So I'm going to shade him around the sides of his head, around his muzzle, up around the top of his head. I'm being very cautious with the TN8 initially because I don't want to make this bear like super, super dark. So I'm just trying to like sort of start off like with less, and then I can add more, and I will do that. And then here I'm taking the TN7 and I'm kind of increasing those shadows to kind of make the shaded areas a little bit wider, although that will blend back quite a bit with the TN2. And so I'm blending again with the TN2 kind of over the whole thing. Now the TN8 doesn't really blend back with the TN2. It does a little bit. The TN7 does quite a bit. So it does take a little bit of effort to kind of get him as dark as I want without being super dark. So here's the TN7 again. I'm adding some more in and blending it again. And then I'm going to come back in with the TN8 and really deepen up some areas and get a little bolder here with my shading. And that's TN7. And now here's TN2 again to blend it all back. And I think it actually turns out pretty cool. Like I was really happy with how the bears turned out. I thought the fur looked really fun. So I'm going to color all 3 bears the exact same way. I'm going to super speed up the body of the bear here, just so you can see it one more time, like how I'm doing it. Just so you can try it. I think it's really fun. I like that textural look, but then I like texture in my coloring. I'm not really like a smooth blend person. So if it would bug you, then I would say, blend the 2 colors together on a block first to get your third color and then color it down. That would be, then you won't get that textury look. But, personal preference. So you can see I kind of fuss back and forth between the TN8, the TN7, and the TN2 till I get it just exactly the way I want it. But it does work pretty well, and and he's not super, super dark, I was really happy about. Then I add a little bit of PP1, which is a light pink, to his cheeks and his ears. And then I blend it back with TN2 because I don't want him to be too pink. He's a manly bear after all. And then here's my little girl bear. I'm going to color her exactly the same way. And there I'm finishing up I'm calling him a little boy bear with the exact same techniques. So you can see I'm blending again with the TN2. And I will darken up a little bit with the TN8 here and there. And then for him, I am actually going to use the PP3. I'm going to use PP1 first because it kind of creates like a whiter spot, and then PP3, which is a deeper pink for his cheeks and his ears. And I did the same on the little girl bear. And then I took my glaze pen and I went over their eyes and their noses. And I think that made a difference, especially with the eyes, because the eyes do tend to get a little bit lost in that dark brown. So I liked highlighting their eyes, especially with that glaze pen. Now I wanted this to be a manly card, so I went with sort of blues and turquoises. So this is BT2 that I'm base coating her tutu in. And then I'm going to add a little bit of BT4, just going over like the ribbon and sort of the shadows that are already kind of drawn into the stamp. And then I'm just going to blend that out just a hair with BT2. And then for his shoes, I wanted those to be pretty dark navy. So I went with TB9, which is a dark navy blue. Then I added BT9, which is a dark turquoise. And then I blended it with TB3. And that left this weird, I just didn't like it. It was too light blue. It was good for the socks, like that was the shading on the socks. But then I went back with the BT9, and then I went back again with, oh, here I'm blending my socks with TB2, which is kind of a gray blue, and so it makes the socks look gray. And then I add more TB9 to the shoes to get like a really dark kind of navy with a hint of green going in the shoes. My ribbon is BT5, and then, oh, sorry, no, TB5. And then I lightened that up a bit with TB3. And then the dots were BT5 and BT4. So it's kind of like blue and turquoise. So TBs are the blues, BTs are the turquoises. So you can see I've die cut everything out and I'm ready to go. So my 3 layers are cut with the Stitched Rectangles dies set using the 3 largest dies. So the dark blue piece is a piece of Bonnie Blue soft finish cardstock, and then I used the cute brand new pattern papers, and I love them. So this little tie piece is from the Manly Man 6x6 paper pack, and then the blue polka dots is from the Viaggi Vintage paper pack. And I have adhered the blue piece down to an A2 size card base, and then I stamped "You're the Best" with some matching blue dye ink. I used Gina K Designs in the navy ink, and I cut that out. And then here's my little stitched heart that I cut out of the Bonnie Blue paper, and then I die cut D, A, and D out with that alphabet 2 lowercase die set. So now I'm just going to layer the 3 rectangles together. They're obviously designed to fit right together. And I did add foam tape to the back of the heart and to the bears. So I'm going to just kind of decide where these are all going, put my dad down, and then tuck the "You're the Best" right underneath. And then I will take the backing off all the foam tape and put my cute little bear family in place. And then because I don't like to have I don't like having animals floating. I don't know what my deal is there, but it kind of bugs me. So I wanted to put some shadow. So I started out with IG1, and that was really, really light. So I then did IG2, and that still seemed light. And here I'm like fixing my mistakes with my white glaze pen. That's a great tip if you don't know that already. And then I added some IG4, and it still just seemed too light. So then I went crazy, and I grabbed my IG6, which seems super dark right now, but I will blend it out with the IG4. And that lightens it up, and I actually think it is just exactly the right gray to give them just a little bit of shading and make them look like they're actually standing on or sitting on the floor. And there you get a good look at the bears and sort of the texture and a little bit of the shading. And I was really happy with how it turned out. I think that pattern paper combined with the bears is just adorable. So hopefully I've given you a little inspiration for how to make a really cute teddy bear card for your dad or your husband this Father's Day. If you are looking for a supply list, you can find it in the video description. It will take you over to the Elizabeth Craft Designs blog where you can see a step-by-step breakout of this card as well. And here are 2 additional projects I have done for Elizabeth Craft Designs in the past. And as always, you can find more from me on my blog, blacksheep303.com. Thanks!